gentlemen, welcome to Dragonlance, Shadow of the Dragon Queen. We're continuing our campaign, arriving at the metropolis of Kalaman. And last time, you narrowly escaped with the village of Vogler taking to fishing boats and getting across the river and heading downstream to Kalaman Bay and getting to the outskirts of the city. And upon arriving, you found that the refugees of Vogler were making camp on the beach, and you decided we should get into the city. And so you entered the trade gate and passed by several of the city features, like Hammerstrike Forges and the city market. And you are approaching Castle Kalaman. Any questions?
None that I can think of.
Oh.
We were going to stop by somewhere before we went to the castle, yes?
I think you were all
I thought
deciding.
we were doing castle and then the apothecary.
You were all
since we
deciding
were
what
already
to
here.
do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'll leave it to you guys. You guys can tell me what you would like to do as we hop back into this. As the city is now in full swing. Morning has arrived. There are horses coming and going up and down the streets. People are busy. Shops are open. And Kalaman does not appear to be a city that is concerned at all with an army of thousands that seem to be just on the other side of the river. This is a stark contrast from just last night, where Vogler was overrun and essentially burned to the ground.
We also have a little bit of inkling as to why, because there's somebody who reported like, oh, nothing happened from Vogler, so they don't actually know.
I have to wonder if they don't know or if they've been paid off to not know.
Yeah.
Well, who was it needed to use the apothecary?
Oh, I didn't need to use the apothecary. I have a delivery to make there. To Wyhan.
I think staying together at this point trumps the importance of time, if I may be so bold.
I'm game to not split up. Shall we head for that apothecary?
Yes.
Alrighty. And Blackrose knew where the apothecary was, correct? I guess he had to reveal on the map.
Yes. It was right over that way. Let's go then. If that's where we want to go first.
All right.
Yeah.
As you are just about to start this climb up, this 100-foot climb up to the gates of Castle Kalaman, you decide, you know what, we're not going to go there yet. We're going to head over to Wyhan's apothecary.
It does look like a very steep climb.
Did I remember Wyhan's first name when I remembered what I remembered last week?
You don't know if it's a first name or a last name, but they seem to go as a singular name, and their apothecary is named after them.
Okay.
You only know one name, and that is Wyhan.
Alrighty. Alright, are you guys ready to meet the great Wyhan?
I was born ready.
Yeah.
From what I know about black robes, I doubt any of us are ready.
So as you
I will knock on the door.
and as you get there, you see it, and the windows there are foggy, and it's somewhat obscured, but you can kind of see through the windows that there are a selection of charms and occult trappings that seem to be for sale. And as you knock on the door, there's a smell as you all get close. It's a smell of licorice and pepper. A moment later...
I hate that smell.
Ooh,
you hate that
sausage.
smell? Which smell? Both of them?
Yeah, especially together. Well, that pepper is okay, but licorice... ugh.
Okay.
I bet she's making sausage.
As the door opens, you can see that there is a spectral sort of hand that has opened the door, and it opens inward, and it is a mage hand. And after it opens the door, and now the smell is much stronger. Licorice and pepper is quite strong. And the mage hand gives the sort of cue that you may enter. And as you do, you can see this is a modest shop. There are a few meager tables that are displaying good luck charms, odd animal bones. There are some vials that advertise various remedies. Other than that, I really don't see anybody in here. They're either not at all busy, or they just opened.
Wyhan, hello.
Hey guys.
Yo.
Hey, you made it. All right, good to see you. We are
You're voicing Wyhan.
we are at Wyhan's Apothecary. Nick, just so you know, you're with the group. Everybody's together.
Awesome.
And you just walked in. You call out, and it's not a huge shop. There is a little bit of movement off to sort of like the back left corner. And the movement is a page turning in a book. And nearly perfectly camouflaged, you see a human woman with raven hair and a dark dress with feathered wing-like sleeves that's standing behind a counter that is heaped with open books. And because back behind them are a bunch of other books on a shelf, they're nearly perfectly camouflaged as though you hadn't seen them, but they had a clear view of you as you entered the space. She looks up from her reading, eyes you with disinterest, and then goes back to her book.
I see you hiding over there in the corner.
Is this Wyhan?
Of course.
Damn millennials. Don't know anything about customer service.
Morgan will go ahead and head up to the desk. I have a delivery for Wyhan.
Now that you're closer, you can tell that these, while they are black robes, are very modern, stylized, form-fitting. And I've got some artwork for you, as you are now seeing for the first time Wyhan.
Well, not the first time for me.
Not the first time for you. Yes, good point.
My dickers.
And I'm just kind of just poking around at the trinkets in the window, but still like not taking my eyes off this person.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to play it cool, act casual.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in the middle of the aisle just staring at her.
Complete opposite of what Kaligari is doing. Okay, noted.
Giffel is
And I
a little
roll
bit...
my-
He's a
Yeah,
little
but-
bit fidgety because he's trying to keep his hands in his pockets. So he's really like staying in the middle of an aisle,
Mm-hmm.
wide-eyed a little bit.
Is there like a sales rack or something around here?
All of this,
Looking for the clearance.
yeah, all of this is going on behind you, Morgan. And she seems aware of all of you that have entered, but because you actually hold the scroll forward, or is that what you said, or you just say, I have something?
Yeah,
for
I
you?
was like, I just have a delivery and I have the scroll in my hand. Didn't offer it, not knowing that this is Wyhan at the moment.
She takes it and immediately opens it.
I assume you're Wyhan. Nice. Pleasure to meet you.
She finishes reading and then looks at you. Can your friends be trusted? Unsupervised?
Gives a glare at Giffel. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We all also look at Giffel, wondering what the answer
Why
is.
are you all looking at me?
Morgan, confirm this is Wyhan, please.
You are Wyhan, correct?
She merely nods in an answer.
If that is anything to
Wyhan,
go
how
by,
can you
yes.
say that about me? You've known me for a while. I've never stolen from you.
Her eyes remain fixed on you, Morgan.
Yes, they should be able to be trusted.
I'll keep an eye on everybody, don't worry.
Very well. Please. And she gestures to a couple of rather rustic yet comfortable looking chairs that are next to a wood-burning stove. And as she walks over, she simply waves her hand and a small fire begins in the wood-burning stove. And she takes a seat and offers you the seat kind of facing, maybe about a 90-degree angle, with a small end table between you.
I'll nod his thanks and take the seat.
Do you drink tea?
Yeah, not preferential to any particular flavor.
She nods and the little teapot begins to steam. How are you addressed by family? What name have you taken?
Morgan?
And why do you think you're worthy of using magic?
Not something I've thought about. It's something I've always been able to do. I was born with it.
So do you serve your magic, or does your magic serve you?
He stops to think about it.
Kaligari's going to wander over to the desk that Wyhan had been at and kind of try to like eye what they'd been reading before they went over with Morgan.
Make an investigation check, just kind of as you observe.
I'd like to think it's,
Not doing the thing.
you know, give and take, but I'd probably say magic serves me.
And how will you change the world with your magic?
I'd like to think I've already started. At least protecting people so far, but I'd like to see more of the world to find out how I could change it. I've been at the tower these past few years. Can't know how or what changes are needed in the world without seeing it.
So you seek knowledge, you seek wisdom.
I seek knowledge.
She sits back and pours tea for herself and offers for you to pour your own.
Sorry for the dogs.
Caligari, you are looking at a book that is full of recipes. They appear to be potions of some sort. What languages do you speak? Or understand, I should say.
We've got... I've got Common and Elvish.
It's written in an Elvish script, so for you, it's easy to read. You are currently looking at a potion of fireball.
Okay.
And how it works, you're not sure, but it seems like once the potion is created, the person who ingested it would either explode in a fireball, or maybe they would exhale a fireball, or be capable of casting a fireball. You're not exactly sure.
Okay.
But
Sounds like a drinking game.
it's like a drinking game or some sort of mage roulette. You have also easily a dozen other books that are also open. And you feel like if you had some time here, you could probably do some more reading. What's everybody else doing?
I would look around the shop and see if she has any herbs for sale.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Colorado, Colorado.
There are definitely herbs for
I
sale.
didn't mean that kind of herbs.
Understood.
I was looking for
Understood.
stuff for my herbalism kit, so I can
It's
make
okay.
some
We all got
potions.
it. You're good. We all got it.
It's okay. It's legal in Maine now too. So,
That's fun.
so do I see any herbal healing potion herbs
You
for sale?
absolutely do, and plenty of them.
Oh wow!
Everybody else?
I'm also looking at the trinkets on display.
Okay. You're not sure if you see anything here that is advertised as magical, but they do appear to be, like I said, occult trappings, and a lot of charms and maybe obscure iconography that you see. But there are some made potions back behind the desk. Jarlbrawn, Hawk, Giffel, what are you up to?
Hawk's just kind of doing the classic old guy lap around the store, just checking to see if there's a husband chair. There does not appear to be, so that's cool. Just like, what kind of price are there? Price tags on things? Are there expensive things in here? Is it mostly like in the couple of gold range?
Yes, things are mostly inexpensive and seem to be kind of kitschy, or like I don't want to say it's a tourist trap, but there's definitely tourist trappy things.
It's a lot of tchotchkes.
Yes, and a lot of expensive things are behind the desk. Kaligari is currently looking at this desk, and back behind it, you can see that there's a display case and another bookshelf, and the expensive books are on the bookshelf, and also inside this case is where it seems like the more expensive items are kept, and you see some potions.
Yeah, I'd like to sidle up next to Kaligari and be like, yeah, this stuff's a little bit out of my element, but if you need a hand identifying something, figure out what it is, or I can haggle like nobody's business. The secret is to just have nothing else to do today. So I'm just gonna gear up a help action for whatever Kaligari does next.
Okay. How about Hawk and Giffel? What are you guys doing?
Well, I'm pretty much just waiting for Morgan to come back.
You're behaving
Looking
yourself?
around.
Okay, behaving yourself.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
I am keeping one eye on Giffel, and my other eye is wildly trying to track that spectral hand that opened the door.
Oh, yeah, it is definitely within about 30 feet of Wyhan, but it's doing kind of a little sweep sort of around the store. Just kind of floating around. It's not getting too close to any of you or your companions. But yes. Think of it as a sort of a spectral bouncer, I guess, if you will. It's kind of just, patrolling
Seeing as
the area.
Jarlbrawn keeps an eye on Giffel and the mage hand, I see that. So I'm gonna start having him make face by just moving around randomly.
Okay, all right. Play around with
His
it.
eyes are already sticking out in 2 different directions.
Jarlbrawn, do an inner ear check.
I grow a third eye out of my butt.
Wow, that's impressive. And maybe
The
painful.
feats
Can I
of
roll for
Dragonlance are wild.
Honestly, I track the mage hand a whole lot more than Giffel. If I can't do both, I'm just gonna watch that mage hand.
Sure, it doesn't move very fast. It also is not intentionally trying to hide, you don't imagine. In fact, I think it wants to be seen. Yeah.
I just continuously eye it distrustingly with like a little cocked eyebrow.
Okay. Noted. Wyhan, after taking a sip of tea, looks to you, and now I have a question for you, sort of out of character. Morgan's alignment has not been declared on your character sheet. What is Morgan's alignment?
Oh, spoiler alert.
Or a warning from your DM to everybody else. Get your damn alignment written down on your character sheet.
Did I write that?
I'd say he's chaotic good.
Okay, I think that sounds accurate.
Build up in there.
She looks at you and she says, while I am traditionally skeptical of anyone who expresses an interest in joining the Mages of High Sorcery, I liked your answers. She sets her teacup down, now half empty. She says, I think you are perhaps well suited for... And she pauses. Morgan, as you sit there in anticipation and you think to yourself, I want the robes. What color comes to your mind, and are you trying to play this cool? Are you trying to be elusive, or are you trying to be very obvious about what you want and what your intentions are?
I'd say he's trying to keep it cool. He hasn't taken a sip of his tea at all yet. He just has like both hands wrapped around the teacup, just kind of like looking between it and then looking up at her. She starts talking to him.
Okay, then this is going to be a deception check. If you're trying to not show your hopes and intentions.
Alrighty. I'm gonna use my human. What is it? Resourceful? Yeah, because I haven't used the inspiration after my long rest. 21.
As she scans your eyes, you could have sworn perhaps there might have been an attempt to read your mind, if not through magic, then just through intuition. But she doesn't seem to necessarily... you don't feel like she's seeing through you. And she does say, traditionally, when the scroll is delivered to me, unopened, I would make a recommendation for the white. But red might also be a possibility.
As she says red, he just stares and like directly at her.
That clues her in, and she agrees to contact her fellow mages. And I will petition for your inclusion as a red within the organization. And I will contact you when I hear back from the leaders at the Tower of High Sorcery in Wyreth.
Does this mean my trial is complete?
Oh, I believe your trial. Yes. We will call your trial complete. Your test will begin if you are accepted. How can I contact you? Where are you staying?
We just arrived in the city an hour ago, maybe. I believe we're staying outside, and he'll kind of look towards.
We're staying at the warehouse that we're not allowed to give a name to for some reason. You know, the warehouse.
How long will it take? We'll be in town at least for the next day. I think we're helping with refugees.
She stands up and sort of exhales, straightens her robes as she does, and walks back over to the counter where Kaligari and Hawk are standing. As she continues talking to you, Morgan, she says, very well, very well. I can reach you now that we have met, and you can also reach me. And she offers you a scroll of sending.
I'll gladly take it and give a small bow.
And Kaligari, I'll take a step back just to kind of make room for their interaction.
Did you see anything that you liked? She says, somewhat with disinterest, but also obviously willing to sell what she has to sell here.
I would like to buy some of these herbs.
Oh, okay. Yes, of course. As you bring them forward, so the herbs that you need to make a potion of healing, which costs 50 gold, are 25 gold.
Yes, I was planning to spend 75.
There you go. She sells you three batches worth.
Awesome.
She says, thank you.
Thank you.
Can I add a fourth? I'm gonna give 25 gold to Blackrose.
Yes, indeed.
So take a fourth.
Alrighty, thanks.
In terms of the potions that you see that are available, there are quite a few here. So let's go ahead and Kaligari, since you're there observing, and Hawk, you're helping. Why don't both of you roll a d8?
Mm-hmm.
Teamwork.
Dude, you got 8.
So, Wyhan has some potions of healing here. You see the greater potion. You also see a potion of superior healing on the shelf. And you see 2 other potions. One of them appears to be a potion of speed and a potion of climbing.
We're probably only 4,985 gold pieces short of a potion of speed.
They are quite expensive. You can tell by the price tag.
Wow, they sell methamphetamines here. That's awesome.
Speed.
How much is the potion of speed?
Speed and herbs here.
She says, well, everything is negotiable, especially for friends or colleagues. And depending on what you have available, I'm also open to the conversation for trade.
Oh, okay.
You have any potions that make hair grow?
She looks at
Is
you.
your beard not long enough?
I don't have a beard.
Your picture does.
Morgan, can you learn the Propecia spell?
I'd have to look it up.
Probably pretty high level.
Or any items that would do the same? Any belts, perhaps?
It would be temporary, she says.
Temporary. Really? How temporary?
Depending on the potency. Similar to a transformative spell. An hour, or perhaps up to several days. Potion of climbing, by the way, she says, if you were seriously asking, is 180 gold. She looks around the room from sort of face to face to see if this is even a possibility, or if she just threw out a number that for you is an unfathomable amount of gold.
Yeah, for me that is. So I'll walk back to the window and start picking at stuff again.
It's a lot of
I just
rope.
do a slow blink blink.
All right. Can I do a quick check? You said there were a bunch of books?
Yeah, there's a decent library here.
I'm going to grab one that looks like whatever fantasy James Patterson is. Right? I'm just
Okay, yeah.
looking for something along that line.
Yeah.
So I'll just grab, whatever, a nice generic book. I'll grab that, and then so hypothetically, let's say I were to pick up this book and maybe that little speedy potion there, and I'll really hold the book like I like it a lot. Yeah, this one's a good one. 2 of these, and in exchange, I do have some. I've been looking to light my backpack, take off my backpack, and it's obviously has almost nothing in it. Root around for a bit. If I were to throw in, say, I've got 40 gold, and I've got this award-winning. Well, technically, it is the award. This collector's item blue hat from a fishing tournament from a city that has been wiped from the face of the earth. A forgotten city. This hat is from.
You're already capitalizing on the demise of Vogler. This is amazing. I love Hawk so much. And she, however, does not seem terribly impressed. She says, the book that you're holding, and as you look at it, it says, Kiss the Gargoyles.
Ooh, spicy.
Is anybody a fan of James Patterson? Out of character?
Oh, I was going to say Jarlbrawn is.
James Patterson has a book. James Patterson has a book called Kiss the Girls. This is Kiss the Gargoyles, essentially. Okay. Anyway,
I did appreciate it.
yeah, there you go. So she says, that book will cost you a gold piece, and it's a good read. However, the potion you asked about, potion of speed, is quite rare, and I could offer it for no less than 400 gold.
Alrighty then.
What if I was to add this masterwork fishing pole from the lost city of Vogler?
You've spoken of
You can't say
Vogler
the name
now
of this.
twice. And
I specifically did not say the name of the city. I said
named it.
an ancient city. I said a lost city. I was being purposefully vague. All right,
I
tell you
did
what.
say it purposefully.
Yep, awesome, cool.
This
Thank
is
you for
Giffel.
Thank you for blowing up my shit halfway. That's awesome, Giffel. I love you so much. And I pick up Giffel. Sorry, my son is confused. He only knows the name of 2 cities.
It's like a tale of 2 cities.
Tell you what, so how about we do this? We'll just split the difference into it. You can keep the book, and so instead of 401 gold, we'll just knock that in half. You keep the book, we'll do it for 200 gold, and we'll take the potion of speed. That sound fair enough?
I have heard a rumor on the wind about an approaching army. Perhaps for an exchange of information, I could be cajoled into that agreement.
I look at Giffel, who I'm still holding in my arms. I keep forgetting that information is worth money. That's like your whole thing, and I keep forgetting it. Do you know anything interesting? I've kind of blown my load already with this. I only know that town. I know that town burned down.
Yeah.
And everything else is a very abstract fact.
I'm picturing you holding Giffel out like at arm's length.
Yeah,
looking
yeah,
into his
straight-
eyes. Do you know anything interesting?
And at
Straight
first,
arming.
Giffel is scandalized, just wide-eyed, mouth wide open, and then he says, "Hey, I want you to talk. You have information." And he's like, snaps out of it. "Oh, indeed, I do. Look, this is their flag. And we were there at Wagler when the lizard man or draconian, we still don't know how to call them, but I could show you my sketches. A few thousand of them, they actually attacked. They also...
Ooh, robot, tell her about the robot dragon.
Oh, and they had a cannon. I think that's what they're called. Shooting flame. But everybody said it was a dragon. So I guess there's that.
Was there any specific information you were looking for?
Yes, all news that has recently developed. Perhaps within the last 24 hours. And now her attention is a little bit more focused on each of you. She takes the potion out of the case and holds it in her hand as though to tempt you.
Blackrose will step forward. There were several of this Red Army that we had slaughtered in battle. And they had some very unique weaponry. And I'm going to pull out the longbow I had picked up for myself. And I'm going to show it to her. These weapons they used on us, they had some sort of enchantment where they could shoot fires as well as the regular arrows, or they did it with javelins and swords as well.
Her eyes suddenly, from the dark pupils, you can see a flash of interest and recognition. And she sets the potion down and slides it forward and holds her hand out for the bow. "Good trade," she says. Do you take the potion and do you offer the weapon?
I was hoping to keep the bow, but I'm mostly a melee user, so here you go. I really wanted to shoot fire at them so we could figure out how to get it to work.
Hawk, do you need to make a Constitution saving throw to avoid having an aneurysm or a heart attack as you...
No! The potion lasts for 1 minute, Blackrose. This is a 1 minute potion.
So she takes the bow.
You're overpaying.
She takes the... Well, you remember that the bow is no longer enchanted. You remember that the bow lost its power as soon as it left the hand of the draconian that was wielding it.
Oh, thank God.
And I think Morgan had already sort of...
Same as my spears.
I think Morgan had already also sort of assessed that there might have been some sort of blessing upon the user and a specific type of attunement required for it. But she takes the bow and offers you the potion. You can now add a potion of speed to your inventory.
You might want to try and see if you can figure out how to get it to shoot fire again.
She says, and her attention is no longer on you, but is now on this this item now sitting on her desk, and she says, if there's nothing else, and the mage hand floats over to the door and opens it.
Yeah, what about my facial hair?
She looks at you and she says, I'll see what I can do. I'll let...
No, I want it to be like permanent, like though, right?
I will let Morgan know when I see him again. And when she says this, she raises her eyes to lock with you again, Morgan, nods, and then looks back at the bow.
Yeah, but is it like something you can even do?
There's no reply. There's no answer. She is lost in thought. She has dismissed you mentally.
Morgan, can you ask this fine lady if she can even do that? Am I missing something here?
That's how
She
wizards
has
say
to
they
find
don't know
out.
how they do it. They don't know. They won't ever just say they don't know how
And
to
I
do
just
it.
turn around and I walk out the door. And as I pass the door, can I just like take a swat at the mage hand?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you smack the go to smack it, make a I guess an unarmed attack roll.
Okay. Oh.
Oh no!
Isn't that like the second?
I'm gonna use my daily human inspiration because I want to hit this thing.
There you
24.
go. So as you smack the mage hand, there's this kind of like this satisfying thud, and a moment later, the mage hand just kind of puffs away in this black sparkly kind of mist.
Might beach magic.
On the way out, Hawk's gonna just put his hand on Kiss the Gargoyles, and I'm gonna look at her and be like, I assume you've got like a network for information.
She looks up.
You're
Half-hearing-
a person that knows people.
Half hearing what you said, she looks up and she says, a network. Yes?
Yeah. You're a person that knows people? Excellent. You know that big fancy boat that arrived in the harbor?
You'll have to be more specific.
Nick forgets the name of the boat.
Anybody remember?
Vagler Deluxe.
Thank you so much. I left my notebook upstairs. Yeah, the Vagler Deluxe.
I am
that
not
boat got...
I am not familiar.
Cool. All right. Well,
What
that
about
boat and
what about
whoever's
this boat?
navigating it? Yeah, that boat and whoever's navigating it, they got out of Vagler just in time, at a real convenient moment. If you understand what I mean.
I do. Do you have a name to go with this information?
Baccharis, father and son.
I'm so glad I didn't put you down. You heard the boy.
You're still. I just imagine. I do.
Yeah, I'm still. Giffel is lazy, okay?
You heard the boy.
Like at
the boy.
at full arm's length, like a child that has soiled itself, and you have to hold them, but.
I wouldn't go so far. Come on.
That is funnier. I pictured just hold like you would a 6-year-old, but
Sure.
yeah, cool. Yeah, no, full arms width. Yeah,
Okay.
You heard him, and I'm still deadpan, super serious face. Just make sure you can either sell that information or just spread it around. But everybody, keep an eye on them. They know something.
Will do. And she looks around for
Appreciate it.
she looks around
And
for her mage hand, and she goes, and she snaps, and mage hand appears again and starts to head over, and
Super
very politely sort of escorts you out before shutting the door behind you.
And do I take the book?
I don't know. Do you take the book? She isn't even paying attention anymore.
Oh yeah. Well then I put the hand on the book to like, I'm gonna tell you this and take this book. Okay, awesome.
You took the book.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. All right, cool. Yeah, you can now add Kiss the Gargoyle in your inventory. Yeah.
Bucket list. Oh right. Yeah. No inventory.
What is this inventory thing you speak of?
Oh Goliath.
Right. Castle Kalaman then. Next stop.
Alrighty.
Back
Thank you
at
for the detour.
very little of that conversation was overheard by you, by the rest of the party. Something about that area where Wyhan and Morgan were speaking seemed to be not the equivalence of a silence spell, but definitely obscured. So most of that conversation was private. Morgan, of course, you can share any of that information that you like, but everyone else is, in character at least, not entirely sure of what was discussed.
They
don't
both
think
sounded
she-
like those witnesses you see on the news. They change your voice because they don't want you to know who they are.
I don't think she can make a belt that gives people facial hair. I think she's all talk.
Guys, before we head to the castle, do you mind if we stop at the school for a minute? It's kind of sort of on our way.
The school. Is
I
this
wanted-
your
I
school?
I wanted to see if Shy was around.
Shy.
Oh, my friend. She sometimes has connections around town. She might be of help.
Cool.
I'm gonna be delicate here, but was Shy also an orphan with you?
Yes, she was one of my bestest buds.
Right. Why would she still be at the school? You're kind of grown up.
Oh, she runs it.
Oh. All right then. Sorry.
That's good.
As you head
Yes,
to,
Reasonable enough.
as you follow the street and you make a familiar route, Blackrose, you approach the Tranquil Gardens Orphanage. And as all of you see this now for the first time, you can see that it's a large city block close to the city market with a large sort of courtyard / garden in the center area. And immediately across from it, here, appears to be a fine arts building or an amphitheater of some sort that seems to have the same name, Tranquil Gardens, on the top of it. Blackrose, as you enter the office of the Tranquil Gardens Orphanage, you can see it is full of children that are taking sort of remedial classes. There's a small group that's doing some organized physical fitness activities. And in the office, you find a couple of very helpful employees who tell you that Shy is at the Fine Arts Building.
Oh, good.
As
Thank you.
As you are walking through the orphanage area, you also see your old room, Blackrose. Still there. There's a new coat of paint on the walls, but
I kind of sneer at the room. And continue forward towards the fine arts school.
all right. As you enter the Fine Arts Building, it is a beautiful establishment. This was a community theater when you were at the orphanage. It was not a part of Tranquil Gardens at all. It was they did sort of off-Broadway styles of shows. A lot of late-night improv, and it was kind of run down. But now it appears to have been rejuvenated, repurposed, and Tranquil Gardens has expanded. And as you walk in, you can hear that there is definitely some sort of rehearsal going on. It sounds like children playing musical instruments, and it also sounds like children attempting to sing to these instruments being played by children. It's kind of a hot mess, but it's joyful either way. And as you walk through the main sort of lobby, you can see through the open doors that this is a facility that could easily seat 500, maybe 600 people. And at the stage down at the far end of the auditorium, you can see, sure enough, there's a small contingency of children attempting to play pit instruments and sing and do some sort of choreography, and desperately attempting to organize and direct this motley crew of children. You see a pink-haired half-elf dancing and directing across the stage. Her hair is much shorter than you recall last time you saw her.
Hey! Shy, what's up?
She turns and looks over her shoulder as the music continues, and without losing a moment, she jumps down off of the stage, clears the pit by a good 2 feet, lands, and runs over, and the rest of you see this vibrant individual embrace Blackrose like such a good friend. And there are tears in her eyes as she holds you, Blackrose, and just squeezes so tightly. Oh, I haven't seen you in so long. Where have you been?
Well, I just got back from Vogler. There's some stuff we might need to talk about there, but yeah, I've been around. I've been wanting to come back for some time, and I ran into these people, and it just so happens we were coming to Kalaman. So I had to come see you the first chance I had.
I'm so glad you're here. It's so good to see you. Could you give me just a moment?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Just a moment. And she runs back, remembering that she has a job to do. And she goes over to where the children are, and she starts a group activity where it's much quieter, but the children seem to understand this game. And they begin playing a game. It looks like a theater game of some sort. It's very involved, very inclusive of everybody in the group, and the kids absolutely enjoy this game and just sort of take the lead. And she returns and she walks all of you out sort of into the lobby area where there's a box office and some seating, and she offers all of you to sit down, and she says, "So you said you were in Vogler? Is it the mime game?" No, it's a game where everybody basically says their name out loud, and they do some sort of bodily action, like they do a pose, or they do a silly walk as they say their name. And then it's the next person's turn, and that next person has to do the first person's name and act out what they did, and then they say their own name and make their own action, and then the third person has to do those two people, and it just goes around. So it gets more and more complicated as it goes.
I wouldn't want to be last.
So she sits you down and she says, So, you were in a town? You were in Vogler? Like, you mean across the river?
Yeah, have you heard what happened over there? I mean, it just recently happened, so I don't know if you would have gotten word of it yet.
No. What happened?
So we were over at their, they have that yearly festival, and we were reenacting, and there was half of the people reenacting were using actual weapons. I was so jealous they wouldn't let me use mine, and they even put these foam balls on top of them. And then half the army was using real stuff. So, we got into this big fight, and everyone got injured, and then it turns out there's this huge red army that was marching on Vogler, and they just about destroyed the town before we got away. And there's most of the town got lost to the army, but there were a few that we actually saved and got across the river on the boats. But they're staying at a warehouse outside the walls, and I was wondering if you had any contacts to help them out. They were thinking about naming the warehouse New Vogler, but I didn't know how how bureaucratic Kalaman can be. Didn't know how that would go over with them.
She seems to try to take in a lot of information at once, and...
Oh my god, I'm so sorry. So this is Morgan. This is Jarlbrawn. This is Kaligari. She could be like a sister to me. I don't know. I've never had a sister.
Hi.
Well,
Hello.
Oh, and this is Hawk. Oh, and this one over here, this little one that's awful quiet. That's Giffel.
I put him down.
You've been holding him the whole time.
I pick him up. I pick him up immediately.
Oh my god.
We treat him like hot potato.
Okay.
But what can you do with a kender, right?
We're just conserving his energy for explosive effectiveness.
Yeah, we need him for later.
This is all very, I'm sure, important information. Have you been to see anyone here in the city?
No, we were going to go to the castle. But you've been here longer, and you know the people. Is there someone special that it's pretty good about things that would be better for us to talk to than just the people in the castle?
We were looking
Indeed.
for someone that's higher up.
You should probably speak to Governor Caliph Miat. They represent all of the people here and are coordinating with the council. That's who you should probably speak to at Castle Kalaman.
Okay, good.
Is there some sort of protocol to get in to see the governor?
I've never met Governor Miat myself. I think so, perhaps. I mean, there are guards at the castle, but if you have important information, especially about, you said Vogler is gone?
Yeah, Vogler is gone there.
Burned to crisp.
And you said there was a red army?
Yeah, they wore all these red clothes, and their weapons shot and did fire damage to us, and
There was a
look,
frickin'
it
dragon.
singed my armor.
We
Oh
fear
yes,
they
and
may
the
not be
dragon.
far.
Sorry, Sarah. I couldn't hear you. Say again?
I said we fear they may be not far behind us.
We did what? A day down the river?
Yeah, it was a night.
I
I
think you
doubt
should...
they'll stop at Vogler.
Oh, you think?
An army like that, they burned the city. They aren't going to stay there.
I mean, but Kalaman. And she says this with an uneasy laugh in her voice. Kalaman has stood for eons, even against the calamity.
I hate to say it, but Kalaman probably stood because it was either too unimportant or people had enough preparation to defend it properly. Is there like a butler or a seneschal or something for the castle?
I wish I could help you more. And she looks at you, Blackrose, and she says, this is really where all of my work is. What do you think? And she looks at the theater and sort of gestures.
Oh my god, this is amazing. I remember where all we had was a little corner of like an old broken down garden that didn't even have any green on it. This is so much better.
Welcome back.
It's taken a lot of work, but
I bet it has.
But it feels really good. It does. I feel like, I don't know. You always seem to have a destiny, Blackrose, about you. You always seemed like you knew that something was that you were destined for something, and I wasn't really sure what mine was. I mean, I could sing and play just about any instrument I picked up, but I didn't know how I could find a purpose with it, but I feel like I have now. Listen,
Yes,
I have to get back to my class, Blackrose, but you say you're staying in a warehouse,
outside of town, yeah. Well,
Okay.
they wanted to name it Little Vogler, New Vogler, Vogler 2 or something like that, but I cautioned them because you know how bureaucratic the town can be. I didn't want there to be any problems, so I told them to hold off on naming it that.
Yeah, I think the more you can if you can get in touch with the governor, I think that would be very helpful. I think that's what you should try for.
We got I guess she would be the mayor of Vogler. She's around here somewhere. She can talk to the governor if she needs to about her people.
Is Governor Shyamalan or something like that?
Oh, Governor Kalof Miat.
Oh, I wasn't even close.
Calofmiat. Yep, there you go.
Thank you.
If you
I
meet
just wrote it on the air in front of me. with my finger.
if you meet a young twerp named what was that kid's name again?
Are you talking about the rich kid?
If you meet a young twerp named Baccharis, be careful. He's kind of a bully.
Oh yeah, kill him on sight, really.
Baccharis?
That was a joke. You're
Yeah.
an academic.
Baccharis.
I mean, I prefer to be called a thespian myself. But anyway, Blackrose. Okay, I have a room in the administrative building over at the orphanage, and if I can, maybe can we meet at sunset? Where would be a good spot to meet? I'd love to catch up with you when I'm not working. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I'll meet you out in front around sunset if I can.
Okay, I'll look for you. It's so good to see
All
you,
right.
and nice to meet all of you.
Yes.
You as well.
Pleasure to meet you.
She rushes back into the theater and resumes their musical rehearsal.
Seems like it's about time we find this governor, eh? Now that we know who we need to speak to around here.
Yeah.
It's clear that a lot of people don't know what happened to Vogler.
Governor Kale Mint. Let's go.
Kale mint. Ew.
Mint.
Ew. Oh, speaking of
Blend them
unusual,
up. He makes a good milkshake.
unusual pairings. Yeah, licorice
The
and
next
pepper.
flavor at Starbucks.
It's good for you. That's how you want to know how you grow a good beard. You get some kale and some mint.
Kale Mint.
A little bit
That's
of
a
vanilla in
lawful
there.
good governor if I've ever heard of one.
And
Yep.
you chase it with licorice and pepper. That's the way. You...
Add some bee pollen. So drink 3 of those every morning. 4 raw eggs. Yeah, you're gonna have a beard in no time.
We're sliding into lawful evil here.
Chase it with some castor oil. All right. So,
No, I don't do caster. I'm not a mage.
Cod liver.
yeah. So, as you recall, the way that I described Castle Kalaman was that it towers over the rest of the city, right? The castle is bigger than even the highest structure, and in addition to that, it's on a 100-foot hill with these cliffs that lead up to it. It would be a very difficult castle to lay siege upon. But the path that leads up to the cliffside is overlooked by these gigantic statues. And these statues match the ones that you've seen on the outside walls of Kalaman. At the path's end, you can see that guards stand before an open gate. They ask you to state your business. Are you upfront, or are you attempting to be deceptive about your intentions?
I think I would be up front. I don't know about everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're here as emissaries for someone. Now's not the time to be all coy.
We're here for Governor Caliph Mayat.
And you tell them
Mint?
and you tell them that you are there from Vogler, right?
Yes.
Bringing
Right.
news from Vogler.
Yeah.
That's the key. They let you right in, and a singular guard leads you across a courtyard toward a council chamber. And while
You're not
you
even going
are
to vet us.
not at all,
It could be anybody.
no, and they don't
Oh,
even ask you to
come
leave
on.
your weapons at the door. They bring you right
Be disguised.
into
We
this.
could be assassins.
Why are we making this harder on ourselves?
So ridiculous.
Just go with it.
As you cross Castle Kalaman's paved courtyard, you see dozens of guards on parapets moving between different chambers, but one familiar figure intercepts you as you cross this paved courtyard. And they have an
Don't
arrogant
let it be Blackrose.
they have an arrogant smile on their face. I want to say that this wouldn't have happened had you not said that out loud, but it was happening anyway. Here he is, Blackrose the Younger.
Well, maybe we are assassins.
And he says as you're approaching, and he holds his hand up to stop the guard from walking, and he says, "My father has matters well in hand. We'll be sure to send for you and the rest of the fish folk once we've determined what's best for them."
I whisper to Giffel, who's in my arms, "Can I please just kill him right now? Please."
It would be better if we didn't do that. If we're to give them a reason to think we're in the wrong, then things could go very badly for the refugees.
Blackrose would speak up, and she says, "How can you and your father give any notion of what's going on in Vogler when you ran before most of the commotion even started?
The only
Like
way
a
that would
bunch
be,
of little girls."
the only way this could be easily explained is they knew. And
All right.
I'm really looking at the kid's reaction.
I love it.
Because
Oh, his
I can, you know,
he starts sweating immediately. You can tell like you have cut to the quick. So I would like an intimidation check with advantage, and if someone's making the roll who hasn't participated, already in terms of role play, feel free. So if you want to stack the dice here, who's the most intimidating in the group?
Can I help the guard with
You're
his
like,
insight check?
You're like, here, hold my kinder while I roll intimidation. I don't know.
I don't know. I think he's more intimidating with Giffel in his.
I
arm.
agree, man. It's like,
Yeah, Jarlbrawn's got him.
Giffel is just like growling, like.
He's sitting in my man bag with his head
Yeah.
up.
So who's
Hey, Blackrose, that wasn't quite right there. A lot of little girls stuck around and fought.
You're right. That's true.
So one person rolls with advantage, or two people rolls intimidation. It's your choice, guys. But we need a roll. I need a roll here to determine the outcome. All right.
I'm not rolling. I'm waiting for someone who actually has.
I'm pretty good, and I can throw my commanding presence on top of it too.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, man. All right.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, so I'm letting Blackrose talk and just kind of puffing out my behind him. It's kind of like weirdly close to his face.
Oh yeah.
Hey,
Oh, yeah.
everybody, check that
Look
out.
at his. I'm gonna look at his stats.
26.
Oh
Did
my
it pay-
god. I did say stack the dice, right? I did actually like call it out. So, Blackrose the Younger. So, something's important here, right? So, not only is he a bully, but he seems to be now a threat to the people of Vogler who are in need. And you're not sure what their game is right now, but he seems to be just like seriously trying to impose himself. And the guard seemed to recognize him, at least, I wouldn't say respecting his authority, but stopped when he held up his hand, and stood in your way. But with the threat of really outing him as a coward and perhaps even a conspirator, he steps aside. He hurls a couple of weak insults under his breath, but he slinks off before disappearing into another sort of alcove within the castle, and you lose sight of him.
Yeah, I thought so.
Do you think I should tail him, or go with you to the mayor?
I would love
he
for
is
you to tell
kind
him.
of a. He is kind of a donkey's ass.
Probably just
Tail him?
Probably
Tail
just
him?
He peed I think he peed his pants a little bit. He's just got.
Like pin the tail on the donkey, tail him.
Hawk, as you say that, you look just as everybody sort of like when Giffel says, "Should I tail him?" Blackrose makes an excellent pun, and Hawk, you mentioned, I think he peed himself a little. As you look and you see where he went, indeed, he seems to be in the most of public restrooms that seems to be available here off of the courtyard. That's exactly where he went.
Okay, I know. I don't have to tail him then.
He's gonna be a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go say hi to we get to meet another mayor. What an exciting week we're having.
Oh no, this is a governor.
Well, it's just like a super mayor.
Yeah.
Even better.
As the guard helps you proceed into the largest official building that you've been in, this sort of towering hall, the guard lets you know that you are entering the council chamber. And the guard lets you in a pair of double doors, and you see 8 serious-looking people that are sitting around a broad table in the middle of this spacious hall. And at the table's end, there's a tall man with plaited blonde hair and a vest of blue and gold who stands to meet you. I've got some artwork of Governor Mayat here. Does anybody else have a mouse that just doesn't like to, right mouse click? It's so irritating.
Yeah, after having them for a while, they'll start to wear out.
I have to stretch my finger all the way down to the bottom of the mouse, and I have really small hands. So.
Here he is. I finally got them to pop onto the token layer. So here he is. And he says, welcome guests. I'm Governor Calaf Miat. Your leader has briefed us on the situation in Vogler, his bold defense and eagerness to strike back against these invaders. As Miat says this, he nods to a man near him, Lord Blackrose, who glares at you.
Oh, him? Oh, he left before anything even happened.
This is gonna be fun.
You said
Took the biggest ship that could have held like 20 refugees and just ran off as soon as he saw any problems.
So this is a really large hall with lots of people in it. And so as you're sort of as you're either starting to say this out loud or whatever, it seems that the governor hadn't finished after introducing Lord Blackrose, declaring them your leader. Then he says, tell us, are your people still preparing for battle?
Ha! I mean, no.
They're
No.
outside the city.
Yep. There was no real preparing. It was just kind of sudden battle. We lost by a lot. But at least Baccarat's okay.
He speaks up. Yes, of course. As I was saying, Governor, I believe that these local heroes are recruiting the people of Vogler to reclaim their town. Yes.
I take a step forward. That's all. I just take one step forward.
I love it. Excellent. So, you're actually the 8, the other individuals that you see sitting around this broad table, are dwarves, and they're all dressed really nicely. They are nobility. I'd like for you guys to roll.
Anyone I recognize.
Let's make an insight check, and I'll let you roll a perception check.
Can I do so with advantage or just normal roll?
Have you been to Kalaman? How much time have you spent in
Not in
Kalaman?
Kalaman, but I'm dwarven royalty in Kalin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. I'll let you roll with advantage on that one. Sure.
Sure. 21.
Okay. You're all getting the gist that the way that power works here. Ooh, Kaligari, natural 20 on your inside. Awesome. So general information first here. This council that you see before you seem to be from different guilds. Each of them show colors signifying their importance within Kalaman as council members. They have a unifying sort of sash that they're all wearing. But each of them seem to also have iconography representing prominent guilds. Specifically, a cartographer's guild, a dockhands guild, a fisher's guild, a mason's guild, and a shipwright's guild. And this seems to be like the real power of Kalaman has assembled here. And you aren't exactly sure how long Blackrose Ardenteye has had their ear. But they do seem to be looking at you as though you are indeed leading a small army out of Vogler. You're getting that gist. Kaligari. With your natural 20 on your insight. And Giffel's actually right behind you with a 25. Just the language, just the vernacular, it's clear from the governor's words and Blackrose expression that Blackrose is trying to advance his own agenda. And it seems like taking up arms to retake Vogler might ensure that Lord Blackrose would be a leader. And it seems like he has sort of like he's trying to put himself into that position. And you were in Vogler. You even know that, like, while they threw their money around, they didn't have that kind of clout, right? None of the villagers looked at Blackrose or his son as having any authority in the town.
Okay, that's what I was just about to ask.
Yes. I mean, aside from the privileges that money afford you, right? Or being of nobility, but they didn't make decisions. They weren't leading any military. They certainly weren't an advisor to Mayor Raven. So, this is kind of a strong-armed move that Lord Blackrose Ustestide, is trying to make.
My lords, can anyone explain to me how this man speaks for the town of Vogler while nobody respected him there, nobody liked him, and he has no actual power? He wasn't even there when the fighting started.
The mayor is sitting in a warehouse outside the city gates.
Along with refugees that we were able to rescue from Vogler itself.
Refugees?
And there is actually...
Which are way too low in number.
There is no city to take back, which he might know had he stuck around to see it.
It has been raised by this army, and Giffel is gonna get the flag out and just throw it on the ground between the group and the lords.
Lord Blackrose attempts to interrupt you, but the governor holds a hand to shush him and says, "Please, this is all dire news. My heart goes out to your friends and families, but I hope you understand our reticence to welcome you all through our city gates. These aren't normal times, are they? But please, do continue."
Well, it appears to me that you have an army of many thousands on the other side of the river, and they could be here any time.
Thousands, you say?
Indeed.
Should they choose to follow?
And I'll, I guess we can go ahead and fill them in on, like, the size of the camp that we saw.
Like there are humans, ogres, and draconians that call them, right?
I mean, the
As we
dragon
left,
could have
they
been
were-
here already if he tried to fly.
As
They-
we left, they were storming the city. I'm sure the boards you put up on your windows, good sir, will keep them out.
Blackrose is kind of like, he's really tugging at his collar, man. Like, you guys are like bringing the real here, and you have intelligence as well, having been to the front line essentially, and seeing the army camp. And you actually said, did you actually say dragon? Did you actually say? I think I heard you,
Oh, yeah.
Jarlbrawn.
Mhm.
Okay.
I was about to say that they flattened the city in minutes with their fire and their dragon construct, and then an actual dragon.
The governor
It's a good thing
gestures.
that the
Sorry, go ahead.
that Blackrose. It's a good thing actually that Blackrose managed to get all of his items packed and vacated his mansion before any word of the approaching army came.
We also did find tracks from Vogler leading to a meeting between. Maybe there's a traitor in Vogler, and I would. Well, without proof.
Well,
not
let's
there
not
today.
jump to conclusions here, Giffel.
But I'm saying that just because I have an ear for deceit, and I want to see how he reacts.
Oh, he's reacting very poorly. I'm not even going to make you roll for this. Blackrose isn't necessarily looking guilty to all of your accusations. with that specific, like a private meeting with the Red Dragon army, Blackrose attempts again to interrupt and deny and say that, like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. They don't understand the way of us nobles. And that's
Take
when
one more small step forward.
you are now belly up to like one of the tables. Like you are now only like, arm's length away from Blackrose at this point. The governor gestures to a stern woman who's wearing armor embellished with the blue and gold colors of Kalaman. As if on cue, she nods and steps forward, and she says, "I am Marshal Vendry, commander of Kalaman's military forces. I'm afraid Vogler's situation is far from unique. It's not the only community in the region to face peril. Small villages and farms to the south and the east of Kalaman have been burned in recent weeks. Vogler is the largest community to be attacked and the only one with so many survivors. We
And
have
on the opposite side of the southeast.
experienced patrols of armored Kalaman soldiers have been found cut down, and in some cases with mysterious claw-like gashes in their armor. You have so far provided the clearest information on the enemy that Kalaman has received to date. The governor...
The prisoner
Sorry, go ahead.
before claims, but he fled. Well, he escaped. Maybe he was helped.
The governor, after hearing the marshal's report and listening to you, asks for you to step outside for a moment while the council discusses what they've learned. As Lord Blackrose attempts to also stand up and leave through another exit, the Marshal Vendry, asks him to stay. You are all escorted outside the council, and you're led into a small chamber with wine, food, and a moment to sit and talk amongst yourselves.
Sorry, Zim. Would I have recognized any of the dwarves, any of the craftsmen?
Got you. Your perception of a 21. Yes. You would have recognized the Masons Guild noble. And I would say roll a percentage die. D100.
Sorry, that's the 10, and
Isn't that that's equivalent? That's the
yeah. So 0, 2, I guess.
I see 102.
yeah. So you can't place the name. You're not sure about what clan they're from, but you think that perhaps your father might have had connections. You feel like there's a possible in for you there. You recognized the...
Thank you.
Yeah. The leader of the what did I say? Masons. The Masons Guild.
Mason's Guild.
Yeah.
I'll briefly catch eye contact on the way out and just give a little head nod and then leave.
Is there a service person or a guard in the room?
No, you're actually left alone. There are guards outside the council chambers. You know that there were some guards inside, and you know that there are guards elsewhere here in the castle. They're not hard to find if you're looking for someone.
I was gonna ask the guard before we get into the room if if he knew of anyone who could send a message to Raven to let her know that we're here talking to the governor, and that maybe she should make her way here if she wanted to talk to him.
One of the guards walks past you and they said, I'm on duty. I can't leave the castle. I'm sorry.
You know of anybody nearby who could deliver a message?
You might be able to find a runner out in the city market.
Okay.
Hey guys, we're at about the halfway point. So let's take a little break here and we'll come back. All right? Little break.
Sounds